Hello everyone and welcome in this new video in which I'll show you a game that I played against the Fide Master Alessio Boraso. I played this game in round 6 of the Italian Semifinal. This year I played a great tournament and qualified for the first time for the final that I will play in November. Was a great tournament for me, and this was a very interesting game that I played with white, where I played the move e4 and he played c5, so the Sicilian. Now c3. The idea is to support the push d4 as the Alapin variation of the Sicilian, and he played d5 to pressure against my pawn on e4. Here I took on d5, and the most common variation is queen takes d5, but in this game played knight f6. In theory, the best line for white should be queen a4 or even bishop b5. The idea of queen a4 is to play this move and later play c4, make difficult to take back the pawn d5. But after that, there are lines like b5, very complex, very dangerous. And to be honest, I didn't expect before the game that it was going to play knight f6, and I didn't prepare well this line. And when you're not when you're not well prepared, in my opinion, it's good to avoid the forced lines. So I play like more calm moves, more strategical, playing d4 with the simple idea to fight for the center. And I took back the pawn on d5. Here, knight f3. C takes d4. And here I could take with the pawn, or also with the knight or the queen. But again, my idea was to play simple. Don't allow him to reach positions that were maybe it was really prepared, and I took with the queen to just play for the queenside majority. I have 3 pawns against 2. This is a small advantage that I can try to exploit in the long term. So he played e6. Now the point is that after queen d4, my idea was that after knight c6 I play bishop b5, and in this case bishop d7 is not available because the knight is not defended anymore. So the move e6 is to prepare. The move e6 is to prepare knight c6 bishop d7, and that's why I played knight e5 with the idea that if now knight c6, I'm happy to take the knight with my knight, and he played f6. I think f6 is a small mistake because it's weakening the structure, and I played bishop b5 check, bishop knight e7. Here there is a very wonderful idea for white. I thought about that, but I didn't calculate until the end, so I didn't play it. The interesting idea is to play queen g4 with the knight sacrifice, because after pawn takes, queen takes e6, he has to go back with the knight. And then in the game, I calculated until here, and I was scared of queen b6 because I said, okay, after queen b6, my queen is under attack, and I don't want to trade the queens with the piece down. But the point is that bishop e3 is really strong, because after moves like a6 there is a wonderful idea bishop b6, and clearly cannot take the bishop because I just take the queen because the knight is pinned, or maybe for better take here and then take the queen like this. And if he takes the bishop on b5, bishop d8, king d8, yeah, black has 3 minor pieces, but white has queen and pawn, and all the black pawns are weak. The black king is very bad on the center, so I think white here is better in this position. But unfortunately, I didn't calculate until the end, and I choose a move simple, like all the previous moves, always simple moves. Knight f3. My idea is that trade on d7 is not in my favor because his knight is passive, so I prefer to keep my knight in the game, and he played queen b6. Now there is the queen trade. Usually in the endgame, when I have the pawn majority, the queen trade is not bad, and I don't have other good squares for the queen, so I decided to trade, also because it's forced to take back with the knight on d5. That has to go back, and now castle. King f7 to remove the king from this annoying pin, and rook d1 to take the open file. Knight c5. Here I made my first mistake, my first important mistake, because I played b4. Yeah, I saw knight c4, knight ca4. That is the best move. My idea was that after bishop a3, c4, and c5, my position was fine, but now the black bishops are very active, and I'm not so good here. That's why b4 is a mistake. Instead, was probably better just play simple moves like bishop e3 to develop the pieces. But I was lucky in the game, didn't play 94, but I played 94, and I played bishop d3 because my bishop on b5 is not really useful here. It's not doing anything now. This line is now not very important, so I played bishop d3 to avoid that he could consolidate the knight on e4, and he played knight d6 to stop c4. Because my idea is always to push c4 to have the queenside expansion, and to do that I played knight d2 to support the push c4, but then he played knight d5 to attack my pawns. I have to defend c3, and then my idea is always to play c4, but I can't because there is a pawn before under attack, so I played a3 to then support it and defend b4 and then push c4. He played bishop a4, and this was a very important moment for me because my first idea was to play rook c1 to support c4, c5, but then I realized that I don't really need a rook on c1, and only when the rook is attacking more e6, and maybe if I need the rook on the c file, I can also bring the other rook later, so rook e1 is much better, and knight f4, bishop f1, and now e5. Oh yeah, I think e5 was a mistake because playing e5, now the king is too open. I think it was better to play g5. Playing e5, I have c4, and after b6 I can still play c5 because now I open the very important score for my bishop, and I can exploit this because with the pawn on e5, bishop c4 is also with check. So after that, this move is with check is very important because being with check, black doesn't have the time to take the pawn on c5, and after that bishop g3, king g2 attacking the knight. Probably has to give the knight for 2 pawns here, playing knight f2, because playing knight g5 as he did, he's going to lose the piece for only 1 pawn, because after bishop d5 the piece is under attack. He has to defend it, but then I take on g5, he has to take, I check again, and then I check again, and after that rook b1 I win the piece. So now I'm winning the knight for only the pawn on c5, so my advantage is very big, and probably here the game is completely lost. My opponent continued the game. I think it was nice because in this way we can just see how to convert a winning position in a real win. Rook b7, bishop b7 now, king g7. And after that, bishop e3. Because when you're better, you want to simplify, and rook b8. In this position, the bishop on b7 is very, very important because this bishop is covering this diagonal, and if, for example, I take here, then the risk can be that this bishop can be very, very dangerous with ideas like bishop c6, g4, and my king is not safe at all. For this reason here, I didn't take on c5, but I simply played bishop e4 because I want to keep my light bishop to have a safe position. He played bishop a3, but now rook a1. The only way to don't lose the piece is bishop b3. I take, because I'm happy to trade my light bishop for the enemy light bishop. And here knight d2, he has to move the rook, knight c4, the bishop is under attack, and now take the pawn with check, and then I play rook b7. Rook b7 is another nice idea because I force the bishop to go in a very passive square. And another important move is g4, because I want to lock the enemy pawns, and my idea is to bring the knight on f5, because once my knight is on f5, the black pieces are all blocked and he has no play. So that's why I play knight d2 now, to go e4, g3, f5. He played rook c6, knight e4. I'm ready to play knight g3, so he played f5 to stop my plan, but now he's going to lose a pawn on g5. This pawn is more or less useless because I can just take another pawn. And okay, if he takes rook h5, rook g6 only move to defend it, and then I can also trade everything and win, but okay, maybe I can also just play h4 and win also in an easier way. So that's why he played rook g6, maybe trying to complicate more, but then check, then rook f3. He played king h5 and I resign because there are no moves. I can simply play rook f3, rook g3, rook h3. I can play what I want, and at the end, after for example rook f5, I have now 2 pawns plus the knight, so I'm +5, and it's clear that then game is completely lost the strategy to win would be to then slowly support the pawn until the promotion, and the game is over. So this was a very, very interesting game. It was round 6. Was I think important, the idea of the idea about c4 c5. This was a very important plan to play this position, and the idea of the queenside expansion, I think is very important in this game. Was really, really, really nice, and okay, and then also the idea to like win the end game with the piece up, with ideas like to stop the pawns, make the NPCs passive, and activate your knight, right? So this was also quite interesting at the hand. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have questions, feel free to write below. And see you soon with new videos. Have a good day. Bye.